What's up, guys? It's Johnny the Veggie Giant coming to you on this holiday season of Thanksgiving, and I wanted to share with you what I am thankful for. And it's a really simple answer, and that is I am thankful to be alive, and I'm extremely thankful for my parents. And the reason for that is 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, back in January of 2014, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. And to give you guys a little bit of background, and story behind that time, I had just gotten back from a lovely trip in New York and came back and my townhouse was flooded to the tune of $30,000 worth of damage. And it's just because the townhouse I lived in, there was a unit above me and it was a younger couple who knew nothing about plumbing, and at that time in January in Chicago we get minus 10 degrees or colder, and their pipes froze and dumped thousands of gallons into my apartment, into my townhome for something like 12 hours, which again just destroyed almost everything. So anyway, now that that scene is set for you guys, as soon as I got back home and I saw this flooding and this damage and so forth, I had to kind of regroup and figure out what the hell I was going to do. And that very night, I got really ill. I got a really high fever. I was coughing, was nauseous, and just feeling terrible. The next morning when I woke up, I was coughing up blood and it was very weak. I went right away to the doctor. He ran blood work and had me go for some scans. The very next day, I get a call from him at 9 a.m. telling me that I have lung cancer and that at my age it has spread from somewhere else, like my testicles or my kidneys or my liver, and then we have to find it before it kills me. And at that time, when I heard that, the doctor's like, you have lung cancer and we've got to find it and this, that, and the other. I'm sitting there, lung cancer, yeah. Come in for this and that, yeah. You just hear it. It's like a conversation you're having. You don't feel the full weight of this stuff that you're being told to by a medical professional. And later that afternoon, it kicked in. Hours later, where I broke down and I wept and had all sorts of thoughts about the remainder of my life and the short term of what it will most likely be. And I used to work for an oncology office back in college for 4 years, and I saw patients come in and I saw many of them die during that 4 years, and I saw the horrific effects of chemotherapy and cancer combined. And knowing that the doctor just told me I've got multiple organs affected by cancer, I had no chance in hell of surviving for any great length of time. And that was tough. I've got to tell you, you've got to be one strong SOB to swallow that pill. And I don't know how I know how I did. Just took it day by day is the way I remember it. So at that time, I had nobody to help me. My parents are out of state. I have a brother who's disowned by my family, who I hadn't spoken to for years to this day. And I was in a toxic relationship with a woman that was evil, lying, manipulative, verbally and physically abusive, cheater, and on and on. I'll give you guys some more detail on that, and I'll actually make a whole separate video devoted to that lovely character, because there's a lot to learn from it. But beyond the scope of this video, because this is about giving thanks, and I always like to share some insight with you guys as to why and what makes Johnny tick. So during that time when I was given that lung cancer diagnosis, I was really sick. I had to go see pulmonologists, radiologists, oncologists, hematologists, had to go get Quest Diagnostic, blood work, scans, probes, you name it, the PET scans, CAT scans, x-rays, and all this other stuff done. This was for months on end, to the point where I don't think there's any part of me that they hadn't probed at some point and figured out what's up with me. And just to give you guys the full weight of it is I do have a clean bill of health, and I'll go into all that in another video. It's just, again, way too much to share with you guys all at once. So, but I was coughing up blood. I couldn't get out of bed. I think I ate once a day, and then I had initially a friend of mine drive me to some of my appointments. And my ex was nowhere to be seen. It's a real lonely, scary thing when you're dealing with the end of your life potentially, and there's nobody there for you. And I mean nobody. I didn't have a pet. I didn't have a dog or a fish or anything just to even look at to be like, hey, it'll be all right. So the psychological aspects of being diagnosed with cancer and in dealing with all the doctor appointments and the visits. I mean, I was going every other day to some kind of a medical appointment. And that was a really sad year for me. Really, really tough. And, my ex is one of those people that stands out in my mind at that time because of the fact that I needed somebody in my life. When you're with someone, that loved one is supposed to be there for you. And my ex, just to give you guys clue into the video that I'll ultimately make of her, is I ultimately had to have lung surgery done. And on the very night that I was in the hospital having lung surgery, my ex had publicly posted that she invited over some 20-year-old kid, someone who was literally more than 10 years younger than her, and fed him copious amounts of alcohol and proceeded to bang him in our bed. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of you right away when you hear that, you're like, why the fudge did you stay with that lunatic? Well, a liar, cheater, manipulator is someone who doesn't show their true colors right away. They know they're a liar, cheater, and manipulator, and then when they find a good person, they lie, cheat, manipulate that person until that person does find the breadcrumbs of the lies and the cheating and the manipulation over time, because you can't hide that forever. And ultimately I did. And what gave me the strength to leave that toxic relationship was knowing that here I was in a hospital having lung surgery. She was banging some other kid in our bed the very same night. I mean, how messed up is that, folks? But that's reality. That's the best reality TV show for you right there. Just the actual reality of life. And that's one of my little reality shows at that time. So my parents were the ones that were in the hospital waiting to drive me home. They're the ones who drove me to the hospital and were there for me, and they actually stayed with me for an extended period of time, ultimately, until I got better. And so I am extremely thankful for my parents, and I am extremely thankful to be alive. And for those of you watching this during the holiday season, be thankful for every day that you are blessed with. Be thankful for the family you have, because friends come and go. Someone in your life that you're in a relationship with can come and go, but your parents will always be your parents, no matter what. So be thankful for every minute you have with your parents, because they will one day leave you as well. So I wish everyone a happy holiday season, and I hope you guys found some enlightenment in my story. Peace.